Sometimes, as part of my coaching practice, I am asked to come up with a lineup of speakers. And invariably, I'll have one person who'll say, "Oh, don't let me follow that person because they're way too good." I want to share with you a part of a conversation I had with Julia Korn, who is an executive coaching extraordinaire. And we talked all about imposter syndrome. And she shared this piece of information with me about somebody who not only didn't say, "Don't let me follow them," but she actually said, "Not only do I want to follow them, but I want more time." Stay tuned to hear why. Hi, I'm Karin Reed. I'm a four-time author, Emmy Award-winning broadcast journalist, and communication expert on helping people to own the room, whether it be a physical one or a virtual one. Welcome to Speaker Dynamics. Julia, one of the things that I find has a lot of benefit for my clients and hopefully for the listeners as well is to take some of these kind of abstract theories and put them into a lifelike framework. So I would love to be able to do that with this concept of imposter syndrome. Is there anyone who comes to mind who is an example that could, I guess, a successful example that we could help people to, perhaps chart their own path through imposter syndrome?
Yeah, the person who comes to mind right now is the Girls Who Code founder and CEO, Reshma Saujani. I'm a big fan of her, and she has this very cool story and quote that I think would be fun to share. So
Okay.
she tells this story about how she was asked to give a speech at a Bill Gates summit, and the slot that they gave her was between Bill Gates and Warren Buffett.
That makes
And
me sick to my stomach to think about.
yeah. And so the event planners told her, like, this slot is nerve wracking to a lot of people. Like, we get that you're probably like super nervous and it's a really hard slot. And, we get it. And she wasn't thinking that. She was thinking, they gave me 10 minutes. I really wish I had 12. I had so much more to say. And
Wow.
I know. And then her next thought was, how did I become this person who, speaking in between Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, is not freaking out about what I'm going to say, is freaking out that I don't have enough time to say what I need to say.
Yeah.
And then I want to share a quote of hers with you because it gives me the chills every time I hear it or read it.
Okay.
She talks about having met every single CEO and president and prime minister. And she says, every time I meet them, I'm like, "You're running what?" Me and my girls could run circles around you. And I realized that it's never been about whether we're qualified, whether we're prepared, whether we're ready. It's that we've really never dissected all of the undeserved, unearned privilege that so many people have and that we have literally bought and been fed. Basically, this propaganda that we're
Mm.
not good enough, that we're not smart enough, and that we don't belong. And the real resistance, she says, in this moment is saying, no more. I'm not reading those books. I'm not taking those courses. I'm not taking that class. I'm not buying into this BS.
Yeah.
I'm here and I can lead too.
That's so interesting. So what lesson can we take from that? I love that she came to that conclusion, but for those of us who are still like, I don't know, if I had to be talking between Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, I would be freaking out myself. Like, how can we extrapolate what happened with her and put it into our own lives?
I think what she came to realize in more eloquent words is that everyone puts their pants on the same way in the
Yeah.
morning. And we tend to celebritize
Yes.
C-suite people,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone's success is some combination of luck, merit, external factors, who you know, and really, she's been out in the world to see that there isn't anything special that these people have that she doesn't have. But it goes back to sort of that statement on confidence, right? It's like, try something, see how far you get, try something else, see what happens to your confidence, see the reaction. We're Everyone is just a human being
Yeah.
getting dressed in the morning. And I think she really breaks down that concept.
Yeah, I think that that's a great example. And, working, so long in TV news, I did interview presidents, and I interviewed Muhammad Ali, which I will say there was some, oh my gosh, I'm talking to Muhammad Ali sort of thing. But, I did have that in the back of my brain that, okay, this morning they got up and they probably brushed their teeth like I did. And it helped me, right, to think, okay, they're just human beings. And it does,
Mhm.
put them in a different context whenever you're meeting them face to face. And, so I think that did help to recognize the humanity of the person as opposed to the celebritizing of the accomplishments. In some cases, whether earned or not. So I think that's really
Mhm.
good advice. So the moral of the story is, just own your expertise,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
don't feel like anybody can take that away from you.
Yeah, and don't overthink the word expertise
Mm.
because your expertise is often your story.
Oh, okay. Tell me a little bit more about that.
I think the phrase expertise, the word expertise or the phrase subject matter expert can often elicit feelings of imposter syndrome for people because they
Mm.
don't identify as someone with expertise.
Yeah,
They're like, I'm just a little mouse over here doing my job. I don't have
yeah,
expertise. I know a thing or two, but it's not different from what anyone else knows.
yeah,
But actually, your story is what makes you unique. How you came to your knowledge is unique. Your point of view on your knowledge is what makes you unique. There's no one else who can tell that story.
yeah.
And the other thing about that, and I heard you doing it too, Karin, is that when we have expertise and special knowledge, those things feel really ordinary to us because they come so naturally to us, because we
Mm.
already know them. And so it doesn't feel special because we know them and it's easy. Like this is easy for you to get in front of a camera and read news. You're the most flawless, gorgeous, right? And people are in awe of you and you're like, what? This is not,
I know
but
it makes me laugh when you say.
but you discount it because it
Yeah,
seems ordinary and natural to you, and that's what we all do. And I think your listeners can learn from you because they're perceiving like how could Karin have any sense of people wouldn't want to listen to her? She's extraordinary. And so I want to challenge your listeners with, you're probably doing that too.
yeah.
You have an extraordinary story, extraordinary strengths and expertise that you're discounting as ordinary because it comes naturally to you.
Well, thank you for your perspective. I appreciate that. I maybe it comes from talking to your kids when they're like, "Oh, it's not a big deal what you do." I know both my kids, having been on TV, they're like, "Everybody's parent is on TV." I'm like, not necessarily. So anyway, but thank you for that goodness that you just popped into the ears of our listeners, and hopefully people will be able to get a lot out of that and then carry it forward.
Thank you.